kid commits a foul. Now in soccer, when somebody commits a foul, what happens? You get a yellow card. What's the yellow card? It's a warning. It says don't do that again. If you do that again, something bad could happen. So a little later in the match, same kid committed another foul. What happens? Red card. You're out of the match. Now in the World Cup, you might be out of the next match too, which means you're really hurting your team. So I said, okay, so all right, I get it. So that's how soccer rules work in soccer. What does that have to do with this? He says, well, Kirk, he says, we got rules about all these things. You're supposed to be at your place of work at 7 o'clock, not just getting to the trailer or just getting to the job site or just thinking about wandering over to where you're working. Our rule in our company is you're going to be at your place of work at 7 o'clock. Okay, that's clear. Morning break's going to be 15 minutes. And that's not 10 minutes down, 15-minute break, and 10-minute back up. It's 15 minutes. Lunchtime, half hour. We have a mandatory afternoon break as well. Why do we have a mandatory afternoon break?
For heat exhaustion.
Because we measured productivity. And it's real simple. We did the math. We did it for 6 months. And we had this group on these jobs not do the afternoon break, and these guys doing it. And what we found is our productivity went up in the afternoon. So it's counterintuitive. You feel like, wow, I'm going to lose 10 minutes a guy per man times $50 an hour. I'm going to lose a lot of money. It's not what we found out. In fact, by doing a mandatory afternoon break, what happened is productivity went up after the break, and guys stopped rolling up early, which they weren't supposed to do anyway, and they work right up to 3:30. The other thing that we do is our journeymen do not roll up cords and don't lock up ladders. What they do is they pick up their tools, they walk onto the gangbox, they put on the gangbox, they go home. Who rolls up the cords and locks up the ladders and that kind of stuff? Helpers, apprentices, all that kind of stuff. Do you think our journeymen appreciate that? Yeah, plus it makes us more efficient, which means there's no rolling up at all, journeyman. You just keep doing what? Keep on getting up till 3:30. You think that's a good idea? Put that in your accent. All right. So he says we got all these rules, and he said they're really simple to understand. And he said so in addition to this kind of stuff, we also have safety stuff. So you always must have your PPE, all those kinds of things. He says, I said, okay. So how's the yellow card red thing going to work? He says, well, what we could do is we could make up a yellow card for every field employee. And it's date stamped from January 1st to June 30th. And it's got all the normal rules on it. And everybody gets issued one. And I said, well, how would that work? He said, well, it's going to work like this. And so, what do I want to be my person? I'm going to do Kyle. Well, I'm going to use Kyle in this example. So Kyle's my guy. I'm the foreman. Kyle works for me and my crew. All right, so Kyle comes in, and it's about 7:30. So Kyle's late. Now, normally on your jobs, and you're the foreman, what would you ask Kyle? Where you been, man? You're late. Right away, you are diminishing field labor productivity because you're asking him where he's been, why he's late, and then he's going to give you an excuse. Isn't that true? Oh, man, my car broke down. Or, man, my wife's sick and I had to take my babies to daycare, or blah, 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 blah. And the problem is you listen to that shit. You think that's important. You think that's you being empathetic. No, that's you being a dumbass, focusing on the wrong thing. I'm going to treat him respectfully. I don't care why he's late. It's his choice. Is that true? It's a choice, right? So the yellow card, I asked the foreman who come up with this idea, how's this going to work? He says, so everybody has a yellow card. Kyle has a yellow card. And Kyle comes in at 7:30, and he walks in. Hey, Kyle, how you doing this morning? Good, man, good to see you. Hey, you're working up with Bobby today, and here's the as-built, and so you're picking up where you left off, and so you and Bobby are running that 2-inch copper, and just go ahead and catch up with Bobby, and the production today is 400 feet. Okay? Hey, by the way, you got your yellow card? Great, here too. Great, thanks. All right, go on up there, catch up with him, have a great day. How did I treat him?
Respectful.
I'm trying to treat him like a man. I treat him with respect. I didn't ask him where he's been. I don't give a rat's ass where he's been.
He knows the policy.
He knows the policy, knows the procedure, and he gave me his yellow card. So that's the warning. It's a big deal. So I put in the daily log. Kyle came in today at 7:30, took his yellow card. That's it. Took me seconds to do that. I get his yellow card's all good to go. All right? A week from now, shows up late again. Hey, Kyle, how you doing, man? You see, hey, same clothes you had on last week. That's awesome. Hey, you get your yellow card? Oh, son of a gun, no yellow card. All right, and that's when me as the foreman, I pull on my red card and give him a red card. Hey, great, all right. Why don't you head on home or wherever you want, and we'll catch up tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. All right? Good deal, man. So I didn't ask him where he's been. I didn't yell at him. I didn't scold him. I'm not his father. I just I just did a business transaction. He got a red card, he went home. Now suddenly I have now enlisted somebody else in Kyle's behavior management program. Who have I enlisted in that? His mama, right? Because now mom, he's gonna get home, he's gonna lose 8 hours worth of pay, and suddenly mama's gonna be saying, what in the hell? How come we're only getting 4 days worth of pay this week instead of 5? I don't need to solve his personal problems. He needs to solve his personal problem, or he and his wife needs to solve their personal problems, but I'm not going to get in the middle of it. The second you utter those words, where you been, or why are you guys rolling up early, suddenly you are deciding that you're going to do situational management, which is the exact opposite of what we're talking about with safety. Safety is black and white. All the policies are black and white, period. This is true as well. I don't want to hear any excuses or any reason, because as soon as you do that, I'm going to try to use my judgment to see whether or not that's a good excuse. The second you do that, you're pissing everybody else on the crew. Pissing everybody else on the crew off. Because too often, who do the foremen cut slack to? The quote, best guys. In fact, they'll say things like, well, yeah, he comes in a half hour later, but he still does twice the work that no accountant there does. And you make those kind of things. The second you do that, you are killing all of your management. Because now everybody's sitting there thinking, man, that son of a bitch isn't fair. He likes Kyle better. Please stop doing that. Please just be professional. And so we instituted this red card, yellow card thing. And so the foreman created it. The foreman created all the rules for it. And so here's what they came up with is that all hourly field employees, including foremen, get 1 yellow card every 6 months. Now, so that's one, free get out of jail card. And then you can only get 3 red cards in a year. And if you get 3 red cards in a year, you're fired. And you can't be rehired by the company. Now, that's 5 strikes. Should 5 strikes be enough for anybody? Right? 2 yellow cards and 3 red cards, are you fucking kidding me, right? And so this is for everything. Long breaks, long lunches, all that kind of stuff. And at first I was worried about it because I was concerned it actually would create kind of a negative vibe. It didn't work out that way at all. It actually became a bit of a game for the guys in the field, and guys became very proud. And real quickly, after a year's time, I heard guys saying, I haven't lost my yellow card for a year. I haven't lost my yellow card for 3 years. And people became proud of the fact because actually a lot of your guys don't have those kind of issues. Now, the other way to change behaviors, because it's not just coming in late, it's also about long breaks and long lunches and those kind of things. Right now in your companies, the way it works is if there's 3 guys at lunch, and you always got one storyteller in the bunch, right? And that guy's in the middle of spinning the tale, and now lunch is supposed to be over at 12 o'clock, but he's still telling the story. What probably will most of the guys do right now? They'll listen to the end of the story. When he's done, they'll kind of wander away. It's not what happens in my company. At 11:59, at least one of those 3 guys is going to do what? Get up. He's going to get up and start going back to where he needs to be. Why? Hey, you know what? I love your story and all that, but we'll have to catch up after work, whatever, because you know what? I can't afford to lose my yellow card, overtaking a long lunch here, so I'll catch up with you later, and off he goes. Because people are smart. They will self-regulate when you create a mechanism that allows them to self-regulate. This also holds true for foremen. And so I was really concerned. I wasn't concerned. I was really curious how this would play out. Because I said, what do you mean? They said, oh no. They said, often foremen are the problem on long breaks and long lunches. Is that possible? Yes. Foremen are also the problem sometimes coming in late or getting started late and all that kind of bullshit. And I said, so you mean a guy in the crew could take a foreman's car? Yeah. And I said, well, won't that cause problems? And what if the foreman didn't want to give it up? They said, well, if the foreman doesn't give it up, then you ought to fire his ass. And I thought, that's a really good idea. Now, no, really, right? Because foremen are the leaders. And so if you're not gonna be willing to be held accountable by your guys, it means you don't understand servant leadership. You don't understand the whole culture and what we're trying to accomplish here. So, do you think foremen ever get sent home in my company by the guys?
Yes.
They do. Now it's funny, I was teaching this class in New York City a couple of years ago. It was funny because a bunch of tough New York foremen, they said, yeah, right, so they're going to send me home. I said, yeah. And they said, well, if I get sent home, ain't nothing going to happen on the job today. I said, oh, well, you just taught me something else. What did they just teach me? You are a terrible foreman, because if your guys aren't going to get anything done while you're gone today, it means the reason for that is twofold. Either one, they respect you so little that they're going to fuck you to death while you're gone, or two, they don't know what to do, which means you did a terrible job as a foreman as far as teaching them and laying them out. And so, as it turns out, we haven't had that problem at all. On days where the foreman gets sent home by his guys, what do you think we have found on job after job after job? What happens?
Increased productivity.
More productivity. More productivity. Why? Two reasons. One, when that happens, the guys kind of want to show him up a little bit in a friendly way. You want to show the boss what? Ha ha ha. We get more done when you're not here. Is that good? Oh, that's great, right? That's great. And the other thing is management is a huge interruption of production. Is that possible? These guys are working, and here comes the foreman, and suddenly starts yakking to you. Production stops. All right? And so we incorporated this a long time ago, and it really, really works well. And I've helped lots of companies incorporate this as well. Some companies I work with, they decide that 2 yellow cards a year is enough, and so some have gone to doing it quarterly. I don't really care how you do it, but I'll go back to Jerry's question and Jerry's comment. This gets you out of the management business of all of those human things like being late, rolling up early, taking long breaks, etc. Now, let's say a guy takes a long break or a long lunch or rolls up early. Well, we don't get any benefit in sending him home then. He still gets a red card, but what?
For tomorrow.
Next day.
So tomorrow he can come in, right? So he's still going to work out the rest of the day, but he's going to miss tomorrow. And so that works really well. Now, another objection that some foremen have is, wait a minute, I can't afford to send that guy home. I need this guy today. I need every guy I have. No, you don't. If he was sick and he wasn't here today, what would happen? You'd still be working the job, right? And so you can't afford to do this. And then really quickly, it sends a message to the guys that this is all black and white, and we're not even going to play this little school game of, trying to figure out whether or not your excuse is okay. And there are no excuses. Somebody almost always asks, well, what if, so we're in DC, what if there's just a horrendous accident on the Beltway and that's why he's late? You live in DC. There's this thing called the Beltway. There's always horrendous traffic and there's always horrendous accidents, which means you should have done what? I cut my teeth. I spent most of my career working in the field in California. California, there's tons of traffic. And so if it takes 45 minutes on a Sunday to drive from your house to the job site, how early do you leave on a work day?
30 minutes. An hour and a half.
At least an hour and a half. No, at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to your job site. And it's just what you do. So if your job starts at 7, you're leaving at 5 o'clock. It's just that's what you do. It's a choice that people make for where they live. I hear excuses from people in Maine and South Dakota. Well, I couldn't get to work because there's a big fucking snowstorm. You live in Maine, dumbass. That means there's going to be a big snowstorm, which means there's no fucking excuses. And sometimes foremen will get hung up with this. Well, there's always got to be a reason. And my guys, my foreman came and said, no, there's not. I never, ever want you to make a judgment call. Just take the yellow card and or issue the red card and record it. And then they built into our process an appeals process. So if you think that you unfairly lost your yellow card or your red card, what do? Fill out a form, send it to the appeals committee. Who makes up the appeals committee?
Employees.
Foreman. No project managers, no executive managers. So this is peer-to-peer evaluation. And so you can turn it in, and my experience has been 9 times out of 10, what will the appeals committee say?
They'll agree with the foreman.
They'll agree with the foreman and say, you should have been here. It snows in Maine. I don't want to hear it. Now, on the odd thing happened that there was a nuclear bomb that went off, and you couldn't get to work today, well, then maybe they would win that appeal. So there'd be nobody else alive, but maybe they would win that appeal. But it just makes life so much simpler. So what are your thoughts on red card, yellow card?
That's cool.
It works really well, and it's so easy to implement and enforce. But everybody has to do it, yeah.
Any